Well, hello, internet faithful and rest of the world out there. This is Simtex from simtexmusic.com, bringing you my first video tutorial. I'm pretty excited. I finally figured out how to make one of these things happen. A little more difficult than I wanted it to be, but it's working now. So anyway, today's tutorial is going to be on frequency-based sidechaining and processing, effects processing. It should be pretty useful. Give you some skills to pay the bills. Yeah, okay. Anyway, if you're one of the 6 people that follow my website, you'll probably have seen my tutorial on how to build a 3-band phase cancellation EQ rack. It's basically a frequency splitter to separate audio material into 3 separate bands where you can process them. So yeah, if you haven't seen that tutorial, you can check that out on my website, or you can just download this template that I'm going to be offering after the tutorial. We're going to be using this rack to clean up a little track that I just started. Got a few elements going, but they kind of clash here and there and needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what I got going, just to give you an idea. So yeah, just a basic 8 bars going right now. As you can see, I have 4 group tracks here: drums, bass, lead, and sphere, also known as atmosphere, in case you're wondering. If we open the drums up, you'll see I've got some audio files. I also have a drum rack here. Let's go ahead and just give them a quick listen. Got the beat, a little bit of funk. Yeah, drum rack, kind of layering on top of it. Yeah, just some added elements. Also have like an offbeat trap snare and some shakers and hats and stuff like that. Kind of inconsequential to what we got going on today though. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the bass, where you'll see I have 2 audio tracks with some audio clips that I have melded to my purposes. Let's give them a listen. Yeah, pretty simple little bass, nothing too crazy yet. Also have a lead, MIDI instrument, operator here. Pretty basic patch. Kind of cool, whatever, real basic, but it works for now. And as you can hear when I played it together, mix isn't terribly bad. Could use a little bit of cleaning. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off here on the drums bus. Go ahead and open the audio effect rack, and we're going to find the Simtex 3-band phase split plugin. I'm going to drop that on the bus, or I'm sorry, the group track for the drums here. As soon as my old ass computer catches up, you'll see that this rack splits into 3 different frequencies. Change this to green just because, yeah. So anyway, if we solo the drums and then we solo the low chain, you'll hear we only have the lows coming through. We can adjust where this is with this here. Kind of just want the sub bass to be coming through on this for the purposes we're going to do, so I'm going to leave it right at about 80 there, which unfortunately you have to open it up to see. But that's about 128 hertz. Sounds pretty good to me. That's a little higher than your sub bass, but should be good for right now. If we go to the mids, you can hear we got a little bit more highs in there than I'd like, so we'll just adjust this down. I want to try and get mostly just the claps and snares and all that good stuff in there. also hear we're getting a lot of the attack from the kicks in there, just because that's where the frequency range is for that. It's not a huge deal. The primary aspect in this frequency band is going to be the snare and such. And then of course we've got all the high-end stuff, hats and top of the snare and stuff like that. Cool. So yeah, that just gives you an idea of how this thing works to split things up. We're actually not going to do anything with this 3-band rack here. It's just here for routing purposes, you'll see in just a minute. Now, one of the go-to techniques for cleaning up mixes is called sidechain compression. And typically you use it to sidechain the sub-bass or lower end of your bass to your kick, so that the frequencies don't clash, you don't get any masking, and you can really get the nice punch to come through off of your kick. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop another on the bass here, on the bass group channel. We're going to drop another 3-band phase EQ rack. And we're going to give it a quick listen for the 3 different... Let's go ahead. Yeah, so we've got our lows. We've got our mids. We've got our highs. Does a really good job of splitting things. We can adjust those if necessary. I think I'm going to bring the lows down just a bit to a little lower. Cut out a bit of the mids. Probably go a little higher than we have it on the kick. For a couple of reasons, but yeah, that'll work. And then we've got our mids. Which I brought down a little bit, just to brought the high pass down on a little bit to cut a little bit more of the highs out, making this a little more cool. So we've got our bass split. Now, what are we going to do with that? Well, like I say, sidechaining the bass to the kicks, one of the things that makes clean mixes in a lot of cases. So we're going to go over here to audio effects. We're going to grab a compressor and we're going to drag it over and drop it right on the lows there. So let's go ahead and solo the lows so we can see what we're doing. Now our compressor, you'll see it comes out like this, and we have this little drop down here. If you hit that, boom, you have your sidechain option. What this does is it takes audio from somewhere else and uses it to activate the compressor. In this case, we're going to go to the drums group, and this is the cool thing about this frequency splitter. If you open this up, you'll see we have all kinds of routing options. I can route pre-post all over for any band on that splitter. So we're wanting to sidechain the bass, the lows of the bass specifically, to the lows of the drums. So Simtex 3-band split low, and we're going to go ahead and go post mixer. Honestly, I get good results this way. I believe post FX would work just as well. Maybe somebody can comment on that for me. But anyway, we'll select that right here, and what you're going to see now is you see this bouncing. Let's kill that. You see the compressor input here bouncing with the kick drum, and also a little bit of the bottom of the snare, which is fine. But we're going to try and set the threshold to where it activates mostly on the kick. You can see the gain reductions going a little bit higher on the kicks. Also, we're going to switch this to FF1. It just works better for sidechaining. Maybe even raise the look ahead. Drop the attack completely. We don't want it to take any time. We want it to damp the audio immediately. Also, we can tweak the release a little bit. I like to put it up right around 100, unless I have really rapid bass hits, in which case it release in time. So you can't really hear it, but it's ducking the volume of those lows from the bass to allow the kick drum to cut through the mix. Let's go ahead and try an A-B it, see if you can hear the difference. So that's with the compressor. That's without it. Just comes through a little bit cleaner. So anyway, we've got that taken care of. Also, we may want to go through the mids here and kind of duck them under the snares a bit, just because it's really important to have the snare come through, as it's one of the driving elements of the track. So in this case, we're going to choose the mids chain on the phase split. So you'll see it's kind of peaking there. Drop the gain a little bit. Raise that. Put it to FF1. Give it a little more look ahead. Kind of raise the ratio a little bit because we have a slight, you'll see sometimes we get the kick in there, and it's a little lower volume, but I really don't want it to duck as much under the attack of the kick. It's just seems like it'd be a little too choppy. So raise the ratio a little bit so I don't have to have the threshold as low to get the same volume. That way I can get it to activate just on the snare. So let's go ahead and give that a listen. Also forgot to drop the attack there, but as you can see, it kind of helps the snare cut through a little bit better. So I mean, you can expand on these techniques, but yeah, that gives you some interesting routing options as far as side chaining is concerned and such. So let's move on, shall we? Now this bass is cool and all, I like it, but it needs a little something, I think. I kind of want to give it a little more on the highs, maybe a little more width. So what I can do is I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what I'm doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop another one of the 3 bands on just one of the 2 audios. This one I've got a little EQ on, so I want it to be after the EQ. And we're going to go ahead and select the high band. There's a few ways you can make width and such, but I think I'm going to throw a ping pong on there. Kind of fade it back into the distance a little bit, but it's gonna give a little more wideness. Let's go ahead and listen to that. Listen to it off first. Alright, now as you can hear, we don't really have a lot coming through on that. There we go. That's just the highs. Drop it down a little bit. Alright, and then we're going to turn the ping pong on and give it a listen. So just kind of adjust the feedback and stuff to settings, or to taste, just to make it sound the way I want it to. So yeah, definitely adds an element up top. Also, I think that the middle could use a little bit of thinking. Maybe I should just leave the middle alone for now. Let's try some chorus, actually. Put some chorus on the mid channel here. Let's go ahead and solo it so you can hear it over here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Sounds cool. I like it. We'll go ahead and leave that. Let's give it a listen all the way together real quick. Cool. I think that definitely adds a bit more space to the whole thing. Let's go ahead and listen to it with the other one. I like it. Sounds good to me. And since I'm the only one I have to make happy, that's going to work. Alright, so we've used it there to do a little bit of processing on the bass. Let's go ahead and grab another one and do some work on this lead over here. It's kind of got a real basic sound. Just a little FM thing that I put together. Honestly, I kind of feel like this could benefit from some chorus on the mids as well. So let's go ahead and drop a chorus on the mids. Solo these guys. Let's expand it so I can see my chorus. And what do we got? Cool. Let's throw a little bit crushing goodness on the tops here. Let's listen to that. Ooh, that's ugly. That's not gonna work. Ah, that's way more interesting. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it a listen now. Cool. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Some interesting ways to use the EQ split rack to do some modification. Get creative with it. You can actually do a lot more than this. This is kind of just the basics. I'll probably be posting up some more tutorials on other creative ways to use it in the future. But until then, stay tuned to simtexmusic.com. Thank you for watching the tutorial. And happy music making, guys.